INEC chairman restates the commission's readiness to conduct a seamless off-cycle governorship election in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. 11,000 observers to witness the elections billed for the 11th of November. Also on political update today, Katsina State Governor Diko Umar Rada explains his no-tolerance stance against banditry, says citizens must treat security as the most important component of community life for peace and prosperity to return. We have this and more on our lineup. I am Fisayo Ogunfui. Welcome. Beyond renewing the hope of Nigerians, the current administration is now aiming to renew the belief of citizens in the unity and greatness of the country. President Bola Tinubu is setting this as a priority as during the week directed the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, to institute a national discourse to facilitate this goal.
A restructured nomenclature comes with additional responsibility and new charge for the Information and National Orientation Ministry. The presidential mandate to literally reset the ministry was in mind as the minister recently visited the 8 agencies under his watch. The minister was back in the presidential villa to brief his principal, and the meeting was direct as much as the new instruction.
Mr. President has given me a marching order to see that Nigerians believe in this country once again. And we are coming up with a national discourse on orientation and reorientation, as you will say, so Nigerians can believe in their country. You know that people don't believe even in leaders, leaders that they themselves have elected. Flags are not flying anymore. You go to government offices, you don't even see the symbol of our collective existence flying even in public buildings. We're bringing that about. We're bringing back this concept of a discipline that Nigerians should have, patriotism, believe in the nationhood that our founding fathers have told us. So it's going to be a new Ministry of Information and National Orientation, and national orientation is going to be at the center of it.
The administration has found a missing link and saw the need to revive the concept of nationhood and sense of patriotism. This it is also targeting to achieve with a contribution of responsible media.
President Bola Tinubu has called for the strengthening of cross-sectoral partnership between Nigeria and the European Union based on principles of democracy, rule of law, and freedom. Receiving the delegation of the EU led by Jutta Upaliainen, EU Commissioner in charge of national partnerships, the President welcomed the signing of 8 financing agreements between Nigeria and the EU under the EU Global Gateway in Nigeria.
Digital hub, and you have a lot of expertise and knowledge in terms of, I would say, high tech. And that's why, of course, we want to also support your digital transition. We are already doing that through this digital economic package, over 800 million euros, which we actually adopted last year. So we are now working with you regarding 5G, general connectivity, but also this new ID, digital ID system, which is now created by your government. Also, the new area where we see a lot of opportunities is also health. So how we could support you to produce and manufacture medicines and vaccines in Nigeria. This is something which we are now exploring at the moment also with the government.
Under the Global Gateway, there's about euro $300 billion that is available for investments, and 150 billion euro is earmarked for Africa. And both in his role as Nigeria's president and ECOWAS chairman, he assured them that we'll partner to engage and to promote investment, that is the quickest way to ensure that democracy and freedom are enthroned.
Let's take a look at happenings in the legislature in the past week. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, says the Senate remains united despite the situation leading to an emergency closed-door session on Tuesday. Senator Akpabio, who spoke to our State House correspondent after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu, describes the disagreement as a part of traits of the Parliament. The Senate President said the National Assembly is focused on supporting the current administration with proper legislation and oversight functions in order to move the nation forward.
Disagree to agree. But the major thing is that we are all working in one accord. There is no problem at all. Even if some people disagree on some of the happenings in the Senate, still it's only majority decision that eventually prevails. And Parliament is like that. But we will never get to a point of throwing chairs. We will never get to that point. The Senate is too matured and full of mature people. So if we have a disagreement, we immediately go into a closed session, resolve it, and come out smiling.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has called on lawmakers to join hands with him to ensure drastic reduction of poverty in the country. Our own correspondent Kevin Sama reports that the president made this call at a two-day retreat of the 10th National Assembly describes the economic situation in the country as unacceptable.
Desire to build the technical capacity of senators that we have in generating concrete and consistent legislations that can promote peace and sustainable national development in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration is at the center of this two-day retreat. Members of the 10th National Assembly are here to brainstorm on the theme of the retreat, which is fiscal policy and tax reforms.
So let us discuss in this forum on ways of assisting the federal government, assisting federal inland revenue service and all revenue generating agencies to push more money to the federal government. There's of $26 billion annually to gaps existing within its tax system, including evasion, inefficiencies in collection modes, weak enforcement, and a large informal sector that remain outside the tax net.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Olawale Edun, charges participants to maximize the retreat by developing strategies that will help in speedy consideration and implementation of government policies.
He's doing all he can to make the Nigerian economy grow and achieve rapid, sustained, and inclusive growth.
The level of commitment exhibited by the Institute towards the actualization of its mandate should be encouraged.
The retreat will hold interactive and technical sections where the 8-point economic agenda of the president and the imperative of legislative interventions will feature prominently.
Election matters now. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu says all is now set for the Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi governorship elections coming up on the 11th of November. The INEC Chairman gave the assurance at a meeting with resident electoral commissioners in Abuja. He, however, expressed concerns over the rising cases of insecurity in the three states.
So far, all non-sensitive materials for the election have been delivered to the three states. While we are leaving no stone unturned in other areas of preparations for the governorship election, the Commission plans to deploy a total of 46,084 regular and ad hoc staff for the election. We have so far accredited 126 national and international organizations, collectively deploying 11,000 observers for the election. Although the portal for media accreditation closes on Tuesday, 24th October 2023, we have received applications from 80 media organizations seeking to deploy 1,203 personnel. As we said repeatedly, we are concerned about the prevailing insecurity and election-related violence in the 3 states.
Still on election matters, Yaga Africa and Election Observer Group is urging the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to review the format of ballot papers used in Nigeria's elections by including photographs and names of candidates to improve the quality of electoral preferences and reduce invalidated votes. The group was reviewing the conduct of the recently conducted Liberian general election.
But in the case of Liberia, you also see a political class, even though there is some sort of elements of desperation, but like we did highlight, that there was patriotism, there was a commitment, to the Liberian state and the Liberian people.
This is Yaga Africa's preliminary finding of the 2023 election study and observation mission to the October 10 Liberia 2023 general election. The delegation to Liberia was led by a former commissioner for political affairs at the African Union Commission and former Nigerian ambassador to Guinea, Aisha Abdullahi, and the executive director, Yaga Africa, Samson Itodo. The team enjoined the National Assembly to strengthen the electoral law by making electronic transmission of results mandatory, including upload of polling unit level results and result sheets used at different levels of collation.
And I think that's one of the lessons we brought back home. If INEC could extend the time of its voting from 8 a.m. to not 2 p.m. as it is now, maybe we can extend it to 4 p.m. The time is very important to enable citizens to participate.
The noted that the Liberian National Elections Commission displayed high devotion to rules and procedures throughout the polls, and that officials showed excellent knowledge of rules and enforced guidelines at all levels.
Talking about the off-cycle election, stakeholders in Kogi State, especially those from Kogi East, have condemned the alleged instigation of violence in the Central District by a governorship candidate in the state. The group, under the banner of Kogi East Patriotic Association, cautioned some governorship candidates to eschew violence before, during, and after the election.
We are not here to campaign for anybody, but to warn those whose stock in trade is exercising violence and playing the victim that cannot put all of us in risk because of their unpopular ambition. We stand for peace, justice, and credible elections on November 11. And whoever will make that impossible must be caged by security agents before that time. The continued security, peace, and prosperity of Kogi State is our ultimate desire, and we will do everything to make it happen. We condemn politics of ethics, of ethnicity, bigotry, and violence in all manifestation and ramification. We are educated, knowledgeable, reasonable people in Kogi East, and we will not tolerate dishonorable conduct from any politician, even if he is our brother or sister.
The All Progressives Congress says it is working on an alternative dispute resolution mechanism to resolve the internal wrangling rocking the legislative arm of the office of and the office of the state's deputy governor. This was made known when the Aminu Bello Mesari-led reconciliation committee of the party called on the national chairman, Abdullahi Umar Daganduje.
The visit of the Reconciliation Committee to the National Secretariat of APC is premised on one agenda, and that is to fashion out peaceful means of ending the impeachment process against Ondo State Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. The parties involved in the reconciliation process expressed satisfaction with the level of commitment displayed and promised to deploy internal instruments to resolve the lingering disagreement.
We are working hard in the House of Assembly and the national leadership of the party to find a lasting solution to the crisis bedeviling our party and the government in Ondo State. As an arm of government, that we are ready to cooperate with the party, and at the same time, whenever they want to meet us, we will be of help to the committee.
It is also our responsibility to see that all the ethics of democracy
All right, we had a program on the issues of insecurity in the north or west, and Governor of Katsina State, Diko Umar Rada, says his administration is confronting insecurity with courage and determination. Governor Rada spoke to newsmen in Abuja about the bold plans to tackle the menace.
About ethnicity, it's nothing like ethnicity. It's about killing innocent people. It's about kidnapping innocent people. It's about creating problems to the innocent people, disrupting their economic activities. And whatever tribe you are, if you are involved in this thing, I will deal with the situation, because there is nothing like ethnicity in crime. So that is the reason why we took the bull by the horn. We invested a lot of resources in this, despite the infrastructural challenges we are having, despite the problem we have in education, despite problem we have in health sector, despite the huge burden of debt in our state. But we have to leave everything and compromise security, because you go to school when there is peace. You go to hospital when there is peace. You go to market when there is peace. If you don't have peace, you don't do anything. So we must confront insecurity. If that is the only job I will do as a governor for 4 years, I will do it. And I know God will support me in doing this. God knows our mind. We want to deal with this situation, and we need to support the federal government, because we know that the security agents that we have in the country cannot be able to support the innocent lives in the villages. It is my firm belief that there is need for us to encourage, and that was the reason why, since when we started as Northwest governors, immediately after our inauguration, we met and we look at issues that were confronting us in the north. Basically, it's insecurity. The insecurity issue is more devastating in the northwest now than the northeast, because Boko Haram is almost defeated in the northeast. The other element of Boko Haram that were left there have moved to the northwest, supporting the bandit. So it is important for the concentration of the federal government in the northwest now, having the highest population in the country. Those people, we are the ones that have more disadvantage in terms of education. And with this insecurity that is challenging our people, the educational challenge will be more. Because some schools were closed, economic activities were shut down in some locations. And everybody knows that the strength of Katsina State is agriculture. If you cannot go to the farm, there will be a problem. There will be a problem of food insecurity in the state. We need to confront this problem, and we need to do it now. So immediately after our inauguration, we went and saw Mr. President after our first meeting. We told Mr. President that why we were elected as governors in the Northwest is because we promised that we will fight insecurity. So the only thing that Mr. President should do to Northwest now is to support Northwest in terms of insecurity. We need it more than any other thing. Then the other one is the livelihood of the people, which is agriculture. But that, by the way, is only when you secure people who are in peace that you can go to other sectors of the economy. We met, and during the commissioning of this community watch corps in Katsina State, we invited all the Northwest governors, and they were all there. After that inauguration, we were able to meet again, so that all of us together we can fight this thing. And the only way we can achieve success in our fight towards insecurity in the state is if we come together to fight it. Because all my 8 local governments, about 7 of the local governments are bordered Zamfara. So if I'm able to do something in Katsina and Zamfara was unable to do it, it means we are not, they will move to Zamfara. After some time, they will come back to us. But if they are confronted from both sides, we'll be able to manage the situation. And as I speak to you, Zamfara State Governor, the State Assembly of Zamfara were able to pass the bill for this same civilian JTF. Sokoto State, last week, they have inaugurated a committee to work out on the modalities on how to come about this outfit. Kaduna State, I saw them, there are some people already in the police college are receiving training. So it is only when we have a coordinated approach on insecurity that we can be able to muzzle it out and to be able to fight it. That is why it is very important.
All right, Dr. Dikuma Rada, Governor of Katsina State, talking about plans to push back against the outlaws bedeviling the state. We will continue with that conversation in the course of next week. Perhaps also get some of the people driving this initiative from that zone in the studio. My name is Fisel Gunfe, thanking you for being a part of it for this week. We'll be back next week, of course, with our eyes on all three states getting ready for the off-cycle elections, talking about Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states, and also between now and then urging you to, play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye now.